edition of the On the Mic podcast, and the Bellator 291 coverage rolls on. Super excited to talk to my next guest, one of the very best. And in doing research, not only is he one of the top prospects, around the age of 25, ESPN has him listed as one of their top 25 prospects, a son of an Olympic gold medalist. He has done so much. I'm sure he's more than excited to get back in the competition. Magic Norbert Novenyi Jr. Sir, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. So first and foremost, I want to get into something that's on my end of things, right? We'll talk about your fight. We'll talk about your career. But I've noticed you have your own YouTube channel. And I know you obviously had the ACL injury. We'll talk about that. But in a sense of you have so much potential and a lot of eyes on you and what you're doing in your career. Why was it important for you not only to take fans behind the scenes of fight camp, but through your recovery? I just watched the video to see what you eat on fight day. These are all great things that not enough fighters do. So was this something that you thought of during rehabbing your injury, or how did this all come about that you were starting this?
So basically, after my injury, so I always wanted to do it, but I just never really had the time. And when I hurt my knee, I was like, you know what, nice time for me to do all the YouTube stuff that I've been wanting to do. And then I've started my road to recovery. It didn't end up as well as I thought it would be. Like I had something in my mind and ended up not looking like that. But just recently, I met my new partner. We're going to start something on YouTube, Lamine, and he's been helping me so much. And I feel like the new episodes, which is just training and all the other stuff, is going to be exactly what I expected, what I wanted from the beginning. So, but I just wanted it. I realized that if I'm not fighting, my followers are not going to go up. If my followers aren't going up, my worth is not going up in a way. Do you get what I mean? So, also, I just enjoy it. The other main reason that I wanted to film everything is because when it comes to making my documentary of my life, I want to make sure that I have all the footages.
Yeah, no, and I think honestly, here in the States, we have the other, professional sports, basketball, football, baseball, you have all over the world. But I think it's so much of not just the fact that it's team related, but when you compare it to fighting, like these athletes over here, they can just do one thing, make one highlight, and they're all good. Fighters, in comparison, they need to bring fans along their journey. So I love every chance I see a fighter doing what you're doing. I think it's special. I gotta say, listen, I'm not one to judge because one, you can kick my ass, and two, I can't dance. But to see you dancing while you're like making food and listening to music, like this is something that's still very important, whether it's to me or to somebody else, because we want to see all this stuff as the audience, but we want to make sure we see a little bit of who Norbert Novenyi Jr. is as well. And I really compliment you on showing that. Overall, I know you wanted to do it and you talked about why you're doing it, but what do you want the fans to get out of following your YouTube channel?
I just want them to get to know me, to be honest with you. I mean, I feel like, I'm gonna sound, it's like a bad dating website, but like, I feel like I'm a fun person and I like to do this and that. All joking aside, I just feel like when people get to know me and how hard I work and stuff like that, it's motivating to see, in my opinion. I mean, even my dad, like, he called me yesterday, was like, you know what, because like, I'm getting so close to the fire with some cutting when I'm struggling. And even my dad's like, you know what, I'm proud of you, because he was like, even I'm not sure if I would have done the same thing. Obviously, 2.5 years out, and with the amount of work I put in that 2.5 years, that no one really got to see. And I want people to see that all the work that I've been putting in, but at the same time, what I'm really like. So that's what I want fans to get out of it, to be honest with you. And if I can motivate anyone and, maybe inspire someone, then so be it. They're just a bonus.
Absolutely. Well, enough about, I'm going to go, before we talk about your fight, I know you spent some time, we're going to stick with the YouTube stuff. I know you spent some time with KSI. I know he's obviously a big deal. But Jake Paul's doing his thing, and now he's transitioning into MMA. And KSI, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, they'll all be in the same circle. But for somebody who has such a rich history in combat sports, as you do, as your family does, when you see this kind of new evolution into combat sports, into fighting, whether it be KSI, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, what do you make of it? Because at first I was like, I hate it. I hate it. I think it's disrespectful to fighters who have given their entire lives to this sport, to have people who have 1 million followers and a bunch of money to think they can do it. But the three names I've mentioned, the Paul brothers and KSI, they've all put in the work. So at this point, there's no more, hatred from me. So from you kind of being involved on both sides, what do you make of this?
I mean, I've had the same. I at first when it started happening, I didn't really care, and then when JJ started training with us, I realized how hard he works. I mean, he's doing the same work as other actually working harder than most professionals. So I think anyone who puts in the work, they deserve it. Do you get what I mean? And the fact that they could get themselves so famous, they had to put work in. So I will never hate. I will never hate. I can't hate on something great. That's the thing. I just cannot hate on something great. And getting more eyes to they get more eyes to boxing in a way. All these celebrity cards, they put in pro boxers at the at the undercard and stuff like that. And yeah, I just can't hate, and I hope they'll get what they want to get out of it. Obviously, because I'm on JJ's side, I will always back JJ. Whoever you're gonna say, whether it's Jake Paul or Lowe, whatever, I always take JJ's side. Even though, and I think he can beat them as well, just due to the coaching he's got. But I just can't hate on them, and I feel like they deserve it, and the money as well. They deserve it. I can't really hate. I can't say anything. That's how life works. I mean, if you're worth a lot and you work hard and you're famous and people want to see you, then why would I be hating? Like, that's just how life works. My job is to get my name up there as well, so I can be like, I can worth as much as them and stuff like that. I can be worth as much as them and stuff like that.
I would say on KSI's side, I think he has some pretty good coaches. So I think you're right, spot on there. But with that being said, and this is more about another promotion that I don't really want to talk about because we're not here to talk about that. But one thing I am seeing, whether it be from the Paul brothers or KSI or whomever, is when these social media influencers who are turning into combat sports, what they're also doing is they're kind of bringing attention to some of the issues that are in combat sports. It doesn't matter the promotion. It doesn't matter if it's boxing or MMA. Fighter pay, health insurance, the following into the sports. As someone who has dedicated their entire life to this sport as you have, how much does that mean to you to have these people who have all these millions of people looking at them and they're speaking up for what's best for fighters like yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is great, and if you think about it, really, I had my knee surgery and stuff like that. No one was paying me. No one, I had to do it. I was still at the gym training 10 hours a day, but no one paid me for that. So I kind of appreciate it, but at the same time, life isn't fair. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Life is just not fair. So you can't. I can't cry about it. I have to get on with it. I have to make the best of it. If I'm making, if I make it an issue, it's my job. I feel like I have to take responsibility to be able to do what I love, and then to make the most out of it. And if it isn't fair because I don't get health insurance, then I just need to find a way around it. I feel like that's the best mentality to have.
Let's talk about your return to Bellator 291. You've talked about the injury. We've talked about the injury. With all that being said, everything out on the table, where do you stand right now as far as mentally? We know physically and skill set wise, you're one of the very best young fighters in any promotion in the entire world. With that being said, we know that I don't need you to tell me, we know that you're ready to go back out there and perform. but mentally, where are you in terms of your health and recovery? And where do you stand mentally as far as, all right, now it's time to remind the world just how good I am?
You know, mentally, I've changed a lot. I've realized that pain is just a thing. Like you can push through it. You know, those little things. I've realized a lot of things about myself in the past 2.5 years, and I've also realized how bad I want this. I also realized I've got, like, obviously I'm young, and luckily I'm not like I've got a little brain, so I can kind of do other stuff as well if I really wanted to. But this is what I want. Do you get what I mean? And I feel like if this is not what I'm doing, then my life is over. Kind of, it's not the same. Do you get what I mean? If I'm not doing it because I don't want to do it anymore, but because I can't do it, then that would be really painful for me. So I've realized that whatever it is, I'm just gonna go in there, whoever it is, I'm gonna put them away. Do you get what I mean? I'm working like with my mentality is that I know that I'm outworking everyone. I know that every single middleweight, they do their weights, they do their little pet session and this and that. I know that I'm doing live work. I know that I'm mastering my craft every single day, and I know that I'm working so much harder than them. And every single day I wake up in the middle of the night knowing that a person might be better than me, and that is infuriating me. There's the mentality I've got, that someone might be better than me. Someone like a Johnny Eblen, who's legit. Who's what we just saw against Stockholm. Like, he's fucking legit. I mean, his striking is not the best, but his cardio and his wrestling are high level. So, and again, I'm not saying he's got shit strike. That's not what I'm saying. He's got, but it's not like, whoa, he's gonna do special angles and pulls and this and that. But everything else about him is legit, and he's hard work. And the fact that and I'm quite honest about it, he's got a chance of beating me. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. So I wake up every day watching his fights. I wake up every day going over what he does and how I can defend it. And I'm not even scheduled to fight him. I don't even know if I'm gonna fight him ever. But just the fact that there's someone out there who's better than me is infuriating. That's my mentality. I got worked up saying that.
Don't worry about you, man. That. You got me worked up. I'm ready to run through a wall just listening to you.
I genuinely got angry just talking about it.
but that's great. You say angry, I say anticipation, and I think a lot of people are very excited and are anticipating your return. I think this is a very easy question. I don't want to ask any stupid questions, but I think this is very easy. How busy do you want to be in 2023, having had such a long layoff?
So ideally, I knock this guy in the first, then maybe early June, end of May, depending how I'm doing. With my, obviously when I go up in weight and everything else, just life in general. But when I get early summer, and then God willing, I do another one end of the year. And that would be perfect.
Three fights in 2023. I love it. I am going to ask you about your opponent, but I want to ask you a couple things about who you fight for. And almost all of your professional fights have come with Bellator MMA, and they're putting you on a great stage. I know it's going to be a crazy crowd in Dublin, but just as you look at where you're at, and you talk kind of about, you talked about the champion Johnny Eblen. You're talking about how it infuriates you that he's better than you, and you don't know what the future holds. But
maybe he's got a chance of beating me.
Yeah,
that's
what
I said. That's what I said.
Not saying he would. Not saying he would. But with that said, some people can fight 20 times before they get a call to Bellator or another top promotion. You've started your career with them, and you've been able to really grow with them. What has Bellator meant to you, and what have they done for you in your career so far?
I mean, they have been amazing, and I remember the first time I got a call from Bellator. That was before my pro debut, actually, and they were like, they're doing a show in Hungary. They wanted to be on it, and I remember just like, whoa, this is great, and I had a little break after that, like couldn't get a fight, but then again, 2019, I had 2 fights. then COVID came and all that kind of stuff. So I understand. But even now, this contract that I re-signed with Bellator, and that contract as well, if I do it perfectly, if I do it how I want to do it, it's going to be life-changing for me. And the fact that they gave me that option at the age of 23, after 2.5 years out, what else can I say? I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. There's all I can say, really.
I mean, it shows a lot, you know, the investment they have in you. What I like about fighters like you, Norbert, and obviously this is our first time talking. I hope it's not our last. I hope you'll come on again in the future. But, you know, to have fighters that I could connect with early on in their career and see the investment that Bellator or any promotion puts into a fighter with another deal or a longer deal, that's beautiful to me, because that's where I know I get to watch you grow. And knowing Bellator and how many times they invest in specific fighters and those fighters go on to do great things. I look at your division right now. We've talked about the champion. There's so much room for opportunity in your division. And I don't have to tell you, because you're the fighter, I'm the guy on the other side of the camera. One fight can change everything. And, you know, you said you'd like to go out there, and we'll get into your opponent here in a second, but finish him in the first round. When you look at your division and the landscape of possibly fighting 3 times this year, probably another stupid question, but I think I know the answer. How quickly do you want to start facing, and when do you think you'll start facing some of these names in the top 10?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, my last fight was supposed to be against Charlie Water, who was at the time top 5, and I had a dream of becoming a world champion at 23, and I feel like it could have been there. Yeah, I mean, 21, I was supposed to fight number 5, then become number 5 at 21, and then move on, all that kind of stuff. I want to have this fight. You know, I need this fight. I want to crunch this guy first round. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm hoping. I really want to crunch this guy in the first round, and then after the see how I am, maybe another fight that's not like that's out of top 10, and then maybe after, you know, so 2 fights potentially out of top. So this fight and the next fight out of top 10, and then maybe after that start chasing that title. I'm going to be realistic with it. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to rush anything. I mean, I've been out for some time. And I want to make sure when I go down, just it's a clean sweep. You know, I don't want to go 3 3s or 3 5s or 5 5s of being a bloody mess. And I want to go in and just make it clinic every single time.
Well, last one here for you, Norbert, and I really appreciate your time again. Hope to talk to you again after your fight and in the future. You're facing Andy Manzolo. You're going to Dublin, Ireland. Bellator 291, February 25th. I know you want the first round. What should fans in attendance and those watching around the world, what should they expect when you return after a long layoff, one of the very young best prospects in the sport in Bellator? What do you bring in at Bellator 291?
I bring skill, I bring finesse, you know, I bring swag, I bring good looks and a lot of brain, and and I bring, you know, everything that I'm going to bring some greatness. That's what I'm going to bring, and everyone who's there is going to see that, you know. And I've in Dublin before, I brought some greatness. I mean, look at Will, who I fought in Dublin before, and now he's smashing it at a different organization. So and you know, I was 19, I beat him up. And again, not taking anything away from Will, he's very good, and I actually rate him a lot. But I just know it's not that I've got the talent, but I've got the work ethic to be great, and I'm just going to try to prove that to everyone.
Well, Norbert Novenyi Jr., thank you so much for your time. Best of luck, more than anything, best of health going into this fight, and you'll be hearing from me. Hope to have you on again soon, man. I can't wait to see you get back inside the cage. And by the way, just so everyone knows, Magic Norby on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. Follow him on social media, but subscribe. He's got to get to 1,000 subscribers before his fight. That's my goal for you. I will push it for you. I just have over 100, so I'm nowhere near you. But we got to get you to 1,000 subscribers before or on the day of your fight.
Thank you. I appreciate that.